there's no dates, but people expect it's now till just early this year. Yeah, it started. So I'm crossing my fingers that I'm on jury duty. I would just like die in a good way. Like if I got to be on jury duty for this,
they would kick you off because of this.
I'm not telling them.
You have to be honest. Yeah, you have to be honest.
Only if they ask.
Oh my God, this podcast might have ruined our chances to ever be on a good jury.
This is your fault at home. You guys listening.
This is the last episode you'll ever get because you have ruined our chances to be on a jury for murder. Because any good defense attorney is going to be like, this bitch, no.
See, I'm the opposite of the normal person. Usually people hate jury duty. I've never been called.
Me neither. And
I'm so mad.
Okay, the first time I got called for jury duty was, so I moved out of Alaska in August, and I got a letter a couple weeks before, and it was like, you've been assigned for jury duty in December. And I was like, I won't fucking be here.
No, that happened to me too. I moved out of the county, and I got it when I had already moved. I'm like, I don't live in that county anymore.
Yeah. They sent it to me, and they were like, yeah, show up in December. And I was like...
And have you been called again?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
No. So I've never been called in Arizona. And I was never called in Alaska before. Yeah.
I want to be on this one.
I want to be on a jury ever. Even if it's some dumb case.
My friend was on a grand jury, which is like where they pick whether or not it's first degree or goes to this or goes to that or whatever.
That's my dream.
I know. Okay, so the baby's in care of the victim's parents, and the victim has been removed from the Hacienda facility. In fact, after this scandal, half of Hacienda's patients have been moved to other facilities. People were like, yeah, we're taking our loved ones and putting them somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they are expected to downsize by half. And they're closing half of their facilities. I wanted to end on something because, again, the trial hasn't started. There was an initial hearing where bail was set, but obviously nothing else is said not guilty. If you are a victim of sexual assault, you can call 800-656-HOPE, or you can go to the hotline.rain.org for confidential support. So I thought I would throw that out there because that seems like a nice note to end on.
656-HOPE.
Yep, 800-656-HOPE. Yep,
yeah,
but yeah.
It's good to know.
I saw this in the news when it happened a couple times, and that was all. And
I didn't know it was this.
Oh, she had a baby. Yeah. And the Hacienda had some issues, so...
But it is interesting that it didn't blow up. The news kind of kept it under wraps.
Yeah.
It didn't blow up like...
No. I think that it made a few nationwide reports because my family in Oregon was like, this is where you live.
You don't get this detail, which you should.
No, I knew it was one guy who was like one of her nurses. Caitlin's gonna really sneakily eat a cracker. So sneaky. But yeah, I hope you can't really enjoy that, but I hope that was interesting. I'm also going to eat some new review. I've been meaning to write a review for ages, but I was trying to think of something witty. It didn't happen. Fortunately, Sarah and Caitlin are witty, so you should listen to Luminol. It's better than my review, promise.
That's the best. That might be the best review we've ever got.
That's our special moment to ask you, please write a review if you have not. Actually, reviews help our visibility and help us in every way so new people can find us. Caitlin, I can see you hoarding chips in your mouth. How many chips are in there? They're crackers. 5. She does her sign language. Thanks, they can't see that. We already went through this. I don't know the Heimlichs. You're going to have to calm down. All right.
I just ate crackers out of the bowl and just shoved 5 in my mouth like I was fucking Schmeagol.
If there was an Olympic cracker eating thing, Caitlin just won. So I'm going to eat the salted caramel chocolate bar Mr. Evan, the husband, got for us.
Okay. I don't even want you to see my notebook.
I'm not going to look. I'm sitting back for a second to chew chocolate so you can't hear me.
Okay. I'll describe our beer.
I love the can.
I do too. So it is another IPA, an Indian Pale Ale from Odell Brewing Company, and they are in Colorado. Ready to buck convention?
Okay.
Oh, like get rid of convention? We took the traditional IPA and made it bolder and more flavorful, American style.
It's an IPA day.
Highly aromatic and whole flower American hops, blah, blah, blah. And it has a person riding an elephant, but the elephant is bucking.
I'm excited. But he's like backwards bucking. Or is bucking always with the hind legs up?
Bucking is with the hind legs up.
No. What's if they're up in the front? Rearing?
I don't know. Madeline, my sister does barrel racing. You tell us.
What if it's the front legs that are up on a horse or an animal or whatever? I want to know.
I think that's called
I love that our listeners are Google. Like, I'm like, hey, I know that you're, I saw that you do this.
I'm only giving myself more because I'm not driving.
Yeah.
Because I live here. Oh, I was like, going to start my story. Ooh,
I like this.
This might be my favorite out of all the ones we've had. It's kind of in between the alien and the last one.
She means all the ones we've had in this recording session, not all the beers. Because we're recording 2 in a row today. I like it.
Sarah's a lot better at putting herself in your shoes and like what you guys hear. And I'm just like, look at me do sign language and look at me talking about something that happened that they don't know.
I remember y'all are out there listening. It's okay. No, I was thinking about that though. Our personalities, like, I feel like they're not that different, but in the podcast, I feel like they're very different.
Oh, yeah?
But I feel like it's a perfect blend. Do you agree, listeners? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I thought so.
What do you sound like you're sick, listeners?
Get well soon.
Okay. Okay. This case. Okay. My new timey case. I'm going to tell you about Karabo or Karabo, depending on who said it, but Karabo Mokoena.
Okay.
She's from South Africa.
My friend's from South Africa.
So my sources, again, there's quite a few. BBC, Times Live, it's a South Africa news site. News 24, another South Africa news site. And this, you'll be proud, there's no Wikipedia page for this. So I had to like go in the hunt and dig. This was very hard to find information on, because it's, I don't know, it was very hard to piece together information.
Yeah. Well, I imagine if it's 1 recent and 2 international.
Yeah.
That would be, and no wiki, that's very difficult.
Mm-hmm. The SouthAfrican.com, another news site. SoWinTanLive.com.
Fun.
Another news site. Cape Talk. All just like local news site. Cape Talk, SABC News. Oh, and then Times Live again. Yeah. Sunday Times, an article by Naledi Shang.
Great name. Either way, no matter how. There's a badass outside.
So this was another story where it was really hard to find information about Karabo, about the victim. But I did my best. So 22-year-old Karabo Mokoena she was stunningly beautiful. Like, she was fucking gorgeous. I saw one article, like, said she was a model, but that's the only place I saw it. But
if not, she should have been, kind of thing?
Yeah, she was drop dead gorgeous. Aww. She was from Johannesburg, South Africa, which is the largest city and the capital of the Gauteng province.
Okay.
I searched high and fucking low to find out who she was as a person. But like I said, it was really hard. I really just could find interviews and articles where they, like, just quotes from her family and friends, like glimpses is all I could really find. But her family and friends say she had the biggest heart. She was always thinking about other people. Her sister, there were no interviews with her where they pronounced her name, but it's Bontle.
Bontle? Bontley?
Maybe Bontley or I was kept saying Bontle in my head, but Bontley. So.
I think Bontley? I'll ask my friend from South Africa.
Okay. So her sister, Bontley, said that they were 2 peas in a pod. They shared a bedroom. They were incredibly close. Bontley said that Karabo was extremely social and loved being around people, where Bontley was not. So they were very different, but super close.
Yeah.
Karabo had a ton of friends, and this will make more sense as I get into the story, but Karabo dreamed of opening a foundation for abused women because she was abused by her boyfriend and she was trying to get out of the situation, but that was what she talked about to all her friends and families, opening a foundation that abused women could come to and get help. Yeah. And they actually wanted to make it international. It's hard to piece together, but one article said they thought about opening in America first, but it seemed like there were too many hoops to jump through, so they were going to wait. Karabo spent her last birthday, 22, in the hospital. This isn't when she was murdered, but I just want to set how her boyfriend was. After her boyfriend, 28-year-old Sandile Mantso, beat her up. So her sister, Bontley, rushed to the hospital during this occasion. She comes in to find her sister with a black eye, bruised shoulder and leg. Karabo tells her sister that Sandile had done this to her and then smashed her phone so she couldn't call anyone. Ugh. So after she gets out of the hospital and recovers a little bit, but she's still bruised, Bontley takes Karabo to Sandile's apartment after she's out of the hospital so she can get her things. But Karabo refuses to go back home with her because she doesn't want to have to explain her bruises to her family and to people, so she crashes with a friend for a little bit. But she's thinking about leaving.
That's so hard.
A month after this, Karabo was murdered. Karabo was reported missing. In this case is, I said 3 years because it's from 2017.
Yeah.
But Karabo was reported missing in April of 2017. Her burned remains were found a few days later. Oh. She had been doused in gas and pool acid, like pool chemicals, a tire, like she was inside a tire, but not like smushed inside it, but like literally a tire was just set around her body, and she was set up before she was set on fire. Bontley says that during the few days they were searching for Karabo, her and a friend went to Sandalay's apartment to try to view CCTV footage to see if they could see her coming in and out, like they were trying to trace her steps before they found her body. Mm-hmm. Sandalay, the boyfriend, showed up with another woman with him, just telling them to leave and adamantly denying that he had seen Karabo at all. Like, he's like, I haven't seen her, like, get out of here, I haven't seen her in a couple days. He told Bontley that Karabo knows a lot of people, but she likes to hide, so she's probably in a hotel somewhere. But they find out later at the same time, like he's texting. So around this exact same time, Sandalay is texting a friend of Karabo's, Stephanie, and he tells Stephanie that Karabo had been seen driving around with a Nigerian man. And I don't want to get too much into this because I think Sandalay's a fucking liar. But there was this whole article where Sandalay... Damn.
There's a lot of badasses in this apartment complex. I'm moving in.
Is R. Kelly outside?
I hear a badass.
There's this whole article I read, and I don't know, the whole article kind of, it was from his perspective, but the whole art, he was like, he said all this shit about her, like, oh, all she dated all these Nigerian men, and all she cared about was money, and they would give her all this money, and blah, blah, blah. So that's what he was trying to tell her friend, like, oh, she's just off with one of the Nigerian men she's dating. Like, yeah, fuck you.
It's sure nice to, understand that stories change depending on the bias of who's writing them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, who knows how true that is. Yeah. And if it is, still... She doesn't deserve to die. Like, who cares?
Right. After Karabo's remains were found, of course, police question Sandalay because he's the boyfriend and he's the abusive boyfriend.
Yeah.
So, like,
Wasn't a secret.
That's our guy. He denied all involvement, but police look at the CCTV footage from his apartment. I watched the footage and then it led into their interviewing police, but he's seen dragging like an obviously heavy garbage can, and I mean like you can tell in the video it's obviously heavy because he's like struggling, like,
so it's at least like more than 75 pounds.
Well, I saw, so it's not like you're like, oh, that looks heavy. Like, you can very much tell in the video it's heavy. He's struggling. Right around the time Karabo went missing. Police bring him in, they question him. Sandalay then changes his story. He admits to police that it was Karabo's body that he was bringing out. Like, he admits her body was in the garbage can. He tells police that when he got home on April 28th, 2017, he found Karabo dead and said she had committed suicide. But what's really weird, and I looked at 30-something articles and, like, just Googling, trying to find out why he would do what he did next, but he never really explained it. So he says it was her body, but he says he doesn't kill her. She committed suicide. He said I'm just assuming that he panicked. They don't explain why, and he doesn't explain why, but he tells police, like, yep, it was her body. I came up, she was dead. So I left. I went to buy gas, which they say petrol, but it's gas. So he goes to buy gas.
Fancy.
Then he stops by his mom's house to grab a tire and some pool chemicals. He admitted that her body was in the garbage can. He uses the garbage can to remove her body from his apartment. He admitted to driving to a field, putting the tire around her, and then he says, quote, I put petrol on her and walked away. Like, he admits to burning her, the whole thing, but says she killed herself. I can't figure out why are you disposing of a... Yeah. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Why would you do that?
And he doesn't explain why. He's just like, oh yeah, she was dead, so I burned her, but that's
not a normal thing to do.
It doesn't lead to B.
No, if you find a suicide victim, or how would you know it was suicide either? Like, you'd think that you would just call 911.
Yeah, it just... Like,
you're just going to call the specialists who know what they're doing, and they can decide what to do.
Yeah. It gets crazy.
What?
If it's not already.
Okay.
So the medical examiner, pathologist, said that a large part of Karabo's body was missing. What? And I'll get more into that. She could not conclude whether Karabo was alive or not when she was burned. That'll make more sense when I get into it.
Oh.
So Sandalay then, like I said, he said all that she dated all these Nigerian men. He also claimed that Karabo was abusive and used to beat him up. He said that she was angry and depressed and used to cut herself. He tells this whole, like, sob story about how one day he comes home and he found her laying next to an empty bottle of sleeping pills. And he said a security guard in the department witnessed it because he said, like, he couldn't get in, so he had to have the security guy let him in. But the security guy's like, that never happened. Like, yeah, I let him into his apartment one day because he said he forgot his keys. I didn't see anything. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
But he was trying to build this whole story. And I know you don't always know what's going on, but not a single other person in Karabo's life described her as depressed or angry.
Yeah.
And it's just... I wish I hadn't seen them.